What's going on, guys? Idris here. Last week I gave you guys 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy the new M1 iPad Pro. But this week I'm going to be switching gears a little bit and giving you the opposite end and providing you with 5 reasons why you should actually pick up the new iPad Pro. Just so it's not confusing, the reason why I'm doing this is just so I give a full rounded opinion, weighing the pros and cons of both and letting you decide what you want to do. So if you find this video useful, make sure to subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. But also, I'm doing a giveaway of some AirTags, which will be announced next week. All you gotta do is hit the subscribe button, comment down below letting me know that you subscribed, and that'll be it. That's how you'll be entered into the giveaway. Well, without further ado, let's get into the video. First reason why I think that you should buy the new M1 iPad Pro is because of the price. So if you're looking at good alternatives in the iPad lineup for the M1 iPad Pro, the number 2 option I would say is definitely the iPad Air 4. And if you look at the price of the iPad Air 4, the base model starts at $779, and that you get the 64 gig Wi-Fi version. And I don't recommend getting 64 gigs on a tablet. I mean, it might work for a lot of people, but really I think it's better to just get some more storage. And on the iPad Air 4 lineup, if you're going to get more storage, that brings you to $979 Canadian dollars. Whereas if you compare it with the new iPad Pro, that comes in at $999. That's a $20 difference. And for $20 more, you get an M1 chip, you get Pro Motion, you get better speakers, and a better overall display. Of course, on the iPad 4, the benefit is that you do get more storage. It's 128 gigs on the iPad Pro for $999, but at the same time, that is still a good amount of storage. If you're okay with getting 256, you might still be okay with 128. So if price is a factor and you absolutely want the latest device, your best bet is to go for the iPad Pro. Reason number 2 is because I suspect Apple is going to offer full application support for the new iPads. They gave it up to 16 gigs of RAM. They gave it the M1 chip. They gave it so much power. And at the end of the day, iPad apps are great. However, you're not really fully utilizing the power of this processor unless you actually use full apps. So in that last video that I mentioned at the start of this video, I said that the one reason why I'd actually sell my 2020 iPad Pro and my MacBook Air would be if they offer full app support on the new iPads. And I expect that to be announced at WWDC. Of course, we're not sure, it's still up in the air, but if they do announce that, I will make sure that I purchase it that very same day, because that changes a lot. It's a portable system, and for me personally, I enjoy my iPad. I use it for a lot of things, and I'll be able to use it for even more professional tasks if it offers full app support. Of course, the downside of this is if they offer full app support, but they don't really optimize the way that the external display connection works, it's still a step down from using your computer and plugging it into an external display. However, I'm hoping that Apple does decide to change the way they do external displays in the iPad system. Speaking of displays, if you are a photographer, somebody that does digital art, you may be editing videos, or somebody that just needs the best screen quality for watching your video content, then you're going to want to upgrade to the new iPad Pro, and specifically the 12.9 inch version. And the reason why is because that has 1000 nits brightness and 1600 nits brightness when you're watching HDR content. So that means that everything is gonna pop a lot more. The screen is brighter. And again, if you're a digital artist, you're gonna really appreciate being able to pump up the brightness and seeing things. For example, when I'm editing photos on my MacBook, I make sure that I have the brightness set to the highest level. The iPad Pro with the 1600 nits display of brightness is brighter than my MacBook Air. So editing photos might be a lot better optimized if you're using the new iPad and like something like an Apple Pencil. Also, the 12.9 inch version, like I mentioned, has the XDR liquid display. So again, things are just gonna look a lot better. Now, reason number 4, this was something that a few people raised in my last video in the comments. You guys said that you guys did not have an iPad before, or that you were upgrading an old aging iPad or a MacBook. And that is actually a valid reason for going for the latest and greatest, which is the new iPad Pro. If you are coming from an older iPad device or an older Android device and you want the best thing out, absolutely you should go for the new M1 iPad Pro. And that gives you a lot more longevity in comparison to buying something like the basic iPad. We know that the iPads in general last really long, but if you get the latest one, you're definitely going to have a few extra years on your purchase. I know a lot of people don't upgrade their iPads every single year, so it might be good to buy something that you know for sure is going to last you a lot longer. And like I said, a lot of people did comment that they're going to replace their old MacBooks. So in that sense, if you're going to want something that replaces the computer the best, you're going to want to go with the new iPad Pro. Of course, the basic iPad, the iPad Air 4, like I said, can do literally every single thing that the iPad Pro can do. But if you want the best, you want the most efficiency, you want that ProMotion display, it makes a lot of sense to go straight into it and get the new iPad Pro. And last but not least is the M1 chip. Now, I'm not going to really go on this point too much because I feel like I've done a lot of talking about the M1 chip, and so has everybody on YouTube and their mothers. What I will say about the M1 chip is that it's an amazing chip. It's super fast. If the point of you buying a new iPad is because you just want to make use of the power, it makes the most sense to go with the M1 chip as your upgrade or your new iPad. And while the A12Z and last year's iPad Pro and even the A14 chip in the iPad Air 4 are amazing chips and are definitely going to last you for such a long time, M1 is the M1 and it's seriously a beast. My only problem, again, as I mentioned, is if Apple doesn't fully unleash the software, which I expect them to do, and I'm hoping that they do. Of course, having the M1 chip makes a huge difference in your workflow, exporting files, editing photos, all that goes a lot smoother on the M1 iPad Pro. So that pretty much wraps up the 5 reasons why I think you should buy the new iPad Pro. Again, I'm gonna recommend that you go and watch the last video on the subject. It'll be down in the description below. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of the video. Let me know which iPad Pro you bought, if you bought the new one, or if you watched my last video and you decided not to. Let me know some of your reasons why in the comments below. Again, I'm giving away free AirTags. These are free AirTags. All you gotta do is subscribe to my channel and comment down below that you subscribed. The winner will be announced on Instagram and in a later video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.